again, it's quite a hard way to be living at the moment, because you know, I look at it over the last 13 years and I think this has probably been one of the toughest times that I've seen.
This is our new van. Welcome back to another behind the scenes video here at Taylor Roofs. Today we're going to go over some of the jobs we've done recently, we're going to show off our new van, what people think of the new van, and what's going on in the market right now. This is our new van. This is the Maxus Deliver 9. This is a 2-litre turbo diesel that has a payload of 1,520 kilograms. So it's all the space we could ever need. Not only that, it has a really nice big touchscreen in the inside and a really good reversing camera that makes sense. But let us know what you think about the Maxus Deliver 9 in the comments. Let's see why we picked the Maxus Deliver 9.
So the reason with the Maxus van was we've always bought Fords. So all the vans that we've had for a long time were Fords. Before that, I think we were Nissans. So going back to maybe 2017, we brought into the fleet a Nissan Navara, an NV400, which is a bigger van, and then an NV200. So that was sort of new ones at that time. And but after that, we had some older Fords on the fleet at that time as well. I just made the decision that I just wanted everything to all be the same. I didn't actually like having the Nissans plus the Fords, so we went all Fords. So it was all the Ford Transits, the Ford Connects as the Surveyor vehicles, and then we had a couple of the Ford Rangers as well, so the full fleet was Ford. And then we've had issues along the lines with all the brands and all different vans, you know, just from them not being looked after properly, but also mechanical things as well. So I think you can never really quite win with a van. You know, you could buy brand new and you get issues. You can buy second hand and no have issues, and vice versa. Just literally so many different things that can crop up with having a fleet. So when it came to hearing more and more about how popular the Maxuses were becoming, and they have got a mixed reviews out there. A lot of people are saying they're cheap shit basically, and other people are saying they're okay. So we just felt like, why not have a bit of change? We've been certainly, like since the start of the year this year, we've been leaning things down, we've been changing a lot of systems and processes behind the scenes. We're trying to generally as a company run a bit leaner, so we just thought, why not give it a try, you know, one van. So we got that Maxus Deliver 9 in. It looks like a very nice van, nice inside and out. I'm not really overly involved with the fleet and the running of the fleet, so I don't know exactly how it's performing as of yet, but I know it's been wrapped and looking good, and it's a way out to work, so we'll find out how it gets on. But I just felt like for us as a company, it's a cheaper van. In theory, it's sort of going to do the same thing. You have issues with all vans anyway, so we just thought, let's try it and see how it goes. And we've got a good relationship with the guys at People's Ford, so they said, look, we're involved with doing Maxuses now as well. Like, they want to try one, and we're just giving it a go. So off the word of those guys, they're telling us, you know, it's 5-year warranties and road assistance or something to that effect. We bought 2 Transits last year, which was at the beginning. I think that was November or December, but that was the beginning of us sort of upgrading the fleet and getting it back in alignment. And just the sheer, that'd been the first new vans that we'd bought for a while, and the sheer amount that it cost to just get the 2 of them on the road, I don't think there was much change from like 90 grand by the time we bought the 2 of them, got the wraps on, got the roof racks on, got the ladders on the back, got the racking in, got it all plied out and seat covers and whatnot done. So we're just trying to find ways to be more efficient, more cost effective, and we might pay the price ultimately by, you know, we've went cheaper and we've tried it. We might pay the price, or we might find that that's a good alternative to what we've been doing, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll definitely give that one a good run and a good test before we maybe jump into totally going down that as an overall upgrade the full fleet to Maxus, but certainly to look at, I'm not overly mechanically minded or anything, but to look at, it was a nice clean looking van on the inside, really sort of modern looking, seemed the part to me. So I'm hearing mixed stories. If you've tried the Maxus, then let us know in the comments, what your experience has been. But certainly there's a lot of mixed reviews out there, but I'm hearing more positive ones now, as it's maybe took a bit of time for just the van to get itself into the market and start to have problems, then get those solved, and then these are newer ones that's coming through now. So hopefully we'll do all right with it.
I think it's been a good addition to the fleet. I've driven it myself, and I think the inside of it is far superior to the current sort of transit levels of trim. It's smooth to drive, it's very practical. It's a lot bigger, this Maxus, compared to some of their transits, and it's got full functionality, touch screen, and all the sort of mod cons inside. So yeah, it's been a good addition. It's reliable, smooth engine to drive. I believe it's sort of sourced from Mercedes, so yeah, very happy.
I thought it was great. It's got all the tools and the mod cons and the stuff you would expect for a modern vehicle, but I think the biggest thing I like about it is the size and how well it'll work for the company. It'll carry the right tools that the roofers need. It'll carry the materials that we need to get to jobs sometimes, and it ticks all the boxes in terms of a working vehicle.
There wasn't necessarily any specific issues with the transits. It was just, my experience has been that no matter what sort of van you tend to buy, you can have problems anyway. So it was more around that, why don't we give it a go, rather than there being specific issues. But I know we covered it in previous episodes, but a lot of the issues are really cosmetic, that it's just the fans are getting really used as workhorses, so you end up with the diesel cap falling off. That seems to be quite a prone thing with the transits. Quite a few sort of side door issues as well, but again, that's not to blame Ford on that. It's more, that might just be the general wear and tear. These vans are getting used day in, day out for roofing materials in and out the back of them. Even just looking at the annual fuel bill, it's astronomical. So to look at that as a whole and then realise, right, okay, we've got a couple of Ford Rangers out there in the fleet, we're getting rid of those. So we got rid of one, and the Maxus sort of came in that's place. So you're putting a good new workhorse vehicle out into the fleet, and we got rid of the Ford Ranger, and then one of our other Ford Rangers, we're just in the process of selling that off just now as well. Just leaning everything down, making sure we're not keeping on to assets that we don't overly need, and then just trying to buy good with the next thing that we bring into the fleet. Just trying to make sure every vehicle that comes in is going to be serving a good purpose, really.
I think the transits mechanically feel a little bit better, maybe a little bit more power, but I think in terms of what they're there to do and the job they've got, I actually think they're better practically. They've got all the Apple CarPlay and the Android Play and the safety features, cameras. I mean, they're fully loaded, and so in that they're on par with transits, Ford Transits as far as that's concerned. But Ford lovers will probably find it hard to go against the Fords. But I think in terms of business use, what they're needed for, I think they're superb, these Maxus.
So if the Maxus was to work out good, and it does what we need, and we don't have issues from it, then I'm not 100% sure if we're ready to jump everything over to that being the whole fleet. But probably what will tend to happen is, if we have a good experience, then we might, next time we need another vehicle, we might go down the route of getting a Maxus again. However, I have still probably got that bit of bias towards the Fords, just because I've been so used to seeing the whole fleet with the same style and the same Ford badge. I guess it just becomes a bit of creature of habit. That was just me probably just signalling to myself as well, and the team and everyone around us, to say we're not scared to change things if it's not working out, and that's part of it. But ultimately we will see how it goes. We need to see how the van performs, and that's it.
I see that as exactly the same as any other vehicle in the fleet. As I said, the quality is definitely there, and I see no reason why, when it comes to replacing each Transit or something, that we could actually just purchase more Maxus in different variants. So yeah, very happy with it. Maybe the plastics are slightly on the cheaper level, but when it comes to, it's a working van, it's very practical. It's got all the sort of holes and nooks and crannies for all the employees, lunches and phones and refreshments and things like that. So yeah, and the inside is we've got the customised shelves made in, so it looks very good. We got the high one, so it's very practical as far as loading out the van and putting materials in the back of the van. So I'm very pleased with it, and it's my intention to buy another couple when we get the opportunity.
So as a comparison to the Maxus, what we're talking about there, the two Ford Transits that we bought last year, they were both brand new. To date, I don't think we've had any issues at all with those. So a wee scrape on one of them right through the wrap that we had done over by our friends over at Cube Wraps, but nothing worse when that happens. But we'll need to get that in for a wee repair. But so just a slight cosmetic thing where something's scraped the side of it. But other than that, I think mechanically they've been pretty solid so far. So that's a good sign in the sense of, the Ford's still been in the running, I guess, if you like. But a big thing about it is, as well, is you always get what you pay for, and for quality and good service and things like that. I think you always get what you pay for. So as I said, we might pay the price of going with the cheaper alternative, but from my gut feeling and from what I'm seeing in the marketplace, a lot more of these are coming into the market, and I think that in terms of service and how I was dealt with buying the van, it was from the same people I usually buy the Fords from, and it was always good anyway. So yeah, there'll be more to come on this, I'm sure, but I'm hoping that at the time of this episode coming out, we've got the fleet sort of up to a good sort of standard now. We've maybe got one or two sort of vehicles maybe need a look at, but we're getting to a good strong place now where we're going to be probably, now we've got the fleet down to the size that it needs to be. Maybe with like one spare van, sometimes one or two at a real push, just for when things there's a lot of maintenance obviously goes on, but when there's things going in and out of the garage, we've probably got like one buffer vehicle there. But moving forward, it'll be as we start to grow the business again, when we get into more positive times, we'll be adding vehicles as we go, and that'll be a good feeling rather than trying to offload vehicles and get rid of ones that's just kind of been through that cycle. But to be fair, some of those vehicles that we got rid of this year, we've had 7-8 years as well, so it's time for change. It's not just the market, but the market kind of forces your hand a wee bit, and you think, right, let's try and tighten things up and tidy things up a bit. If you have any questions about any of the fleet in general, or Ford versus Maxus, or anything on our experience here at Taylor Roofs, then just ask in the comments, we'll be happy to answer.
If you guys are enjoying this video, then don't forget to subscribe. Today I'm just heading out to go and see this roof we just finished in Whitburn, and honestly it's going to look fantastic. This is a full roof replacement, so it's had everything done. The roof's been stripped, and it's also got new battens, tiles, vents, ridges, the whole lot, and it looks amazing. So I will see you guys when we get to that roof there in Whitburn. Come and take a look at this roof we just finished here in Whitburn. For this roof, we had to strip it right back to the boards. Not the trusses, just the boards this time, because it had sarcasm boards on it, and they were in a great condition, which meant we didn't have to replace the boards. So we added a breathable membrane felt and battens to the roof, and we also replaced the lead around the chimney. And we finished it off with Santoff Pantile smooth grey tiles. So we installed a bonding gutter, vents, verges, and a grey dry ridge system. What a difference to this roof. Take a look for yourself. There's also some stuff going on in the market right now, and Jamie's going to tell us what it is and what we're doing to combat it.
So just now I'm working on our state of company meeting At Taylor Roofs, we have a monthly team meeting where all the team gets together and we talk about how the month's went, what's coming up in the future month, and employee of the month. Usually get some pizzas in for the guys and just a general chance to get everyone sort of together. But where the state of company meeting's a bit different is that's me going over the last year in general. So how was last year for us as a business? What was the wins, what was the losses, where are we at? But also just like in my role as chairman of the company, it's important that I know what's going on out in the outside sort of economy, how the market is, speaking to lots of other business owners, especially trades business owners as well, and understanding from them what the market's like, doing that market research. And this is an opportunity for me to bring that back to the team to sort of explain, like, look, we probably are in a borderline recession at the moment. Things are quite tough. They'll have seen that there's been a lot of change in the business this year, and we're really trying to make a lot of improvements internally.
So I like to call this the sort of state of the nation, or in EOS terms it's like state of the company. So this meeting takes in the sort of environment, the current market. It's not so much as the individual performance of the team or the direction of the business, whatever. This one takes in a lot of external factors, and basically the strategy that going forward that we're hoping to implement within the company. And it's an open platform, so anybody can ask any questions, and hopefully we can give them the right answers. It's about being transparent, and as I say, it's just bringing the team along on the journey with you. I think that when you don't have these meetings, that there's a tendency for people to speculate. They don't really have that much information, and when you don't have information, you maybe make it up, or somebody spreads a rumour or something like that on one of the sites or whatever. So this is about giving the people really accurate information about where the business is, where we're going, the current climate as far as sales are concerned, the steps that the company has taken to protect the employees from obviously maintain their jobs, and things like that, and the sort of cost initiatives and things that we've done to effectively lean the business down to the fundamentals. And then when we've got all that in place, we can start to look at growing the teams again.
And because of the external factors around, the Strait of Hormuz being shut, so over in Iran, something that you think shouldn't really affect roofers day to day or whatever, the fuel shot through the roof, and it caused a lot of uncertainty as well. So people are holding on to their money. They're not sure whether they should spend it or not. They don't know what the economy is going to do. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the market at the moment. And with that comes, we have to double our efforts to make sure that we are being the best we can possibly be, making sure we're being as efficient as we can possibly be. So that's what a lot of the change this year has been around, and a lot of it is driven by the market conditions. So this is an opportunity for me to at our state of company meeting, I'll speak to the team and I'll explain where the business is at and the year that we've been through. But then I can also say, look, where we are right now in this current time and what we're doing about it. We've come through a lot of our changes, and we've made a lot of good positive changes here to ensure that we're going to be a lot leaner, a lot more efficient in what we do, and just as always, as ever, trying to raise our standards. So we're there just now, and then we need to start to talk about, like, what does the future look like? So what does life at Taylor Roofs over the next year look like? And we can start to describe some of the things that we're going to be looking to do. However, it is still uncertain times, so there's a bit of a grey area around that where, like, so the Strait of Hormuz opened up, but we'd already had letters in saying it's a 15% increase on from certain suppliers, 5% here, 7% there, 15% over here, fuel going up. Now, as soon as that Strait of Hormuz opened, it didn't all come back down, it just stayed there. So the fuels maybe came down slightly, but other costs are still through the roof, pardon the pun. So we are now at a point where we're trying to adapt to that economy. So it's our job to explain this message as best we can to the team, get everyone together and get an understanding of, right, okay, we are in a tough economy, but what can we do? What can we do to make it better? It would make sense for us to put our prices up right now because of how tough the economy is and how much it's making us lean down and tighten everything up. However, that's just passing the problem straight onto the homeowner. So at this moment in time, we're trying to freeze our prices, which we have done, but it's having a a big impact on how much we need to do behind the scenes to actually make things work. We're seeing the materials costs rise, so we're trying to be more efficient with the things that we do, just so that we can, we can cater for the homeowner, we can keep our team in work, and we can just keep providing that trusted, reliable service that we've done over the last 13 years. Where do I see the market heading then? Well, for me, I think all that can really change out there in climate-wise is, that war calms itself down. That should have a ripple effect in making things a bit better. I've seen some things where they're trying to offer first-time buyer mortgages and they're trying to get young people onto their first mortgages, and so I think the economy's starting to try to change. We're not going to see anything major, I wouldn't say, until probably the October budget. Again, it's quite a hard way to be living at the moment, because for me, I can't see much changing between now and then. So we've really got to sort of, as I said earlier, drive the efficiencies, work double as hard as we can to provide a great service to homeowners, and hope that they just keep backing us, and we'll do everything we can to give them the best possible trusted and reliable and quality work. But for me, I think we'd need something big to change probably come October. There needs to be some sort of good news. Do you know what? I look at it over the last 13 years, and I think this has probably been one of the toughest times that I've seen for myself and for Taylor Roofs. We always look at it as we have to be almost the governor of our own economy. We need to say, right, well, what can we do better? How can we, do the best at what we're working with, essentially? And that's what we've been trying to do big time this year. I think that even though it's tough times, there's probably a lot of positives to come out of it, that it teaches you how to almost sort of navigate those choppy seas. But in terms of what's going to happen, I think it's still very, very uncertain. So here at Taylor Roofs, we operate on a system called the tailor-made experience. So that essentially began as a trusted, reliable, quality roofing service, all built in my head. So it was, get the phones answered quickly, get out and do a survey fast, get the quote back, make sure that everything's accurate and in there, get the job done, get everything signed off, and then, that was it, on to the next one. Through time, obviously, the reputation grew. I was getting busier and busier, and we started to employ people and bring people on board with this journey to be able to do the tailor-made experience at scale. So for us, when anything is tight in the market or anything like this happens, the good thing is we've got that documented process of the tailor-made experience, which is from the homeowner coming in for the very first inquiry right to the end, being really satisfied and looking to leave us a 5-star review or recommend us to a friend or family member. So that for us this is what we'll work on now. So we've tightened up certain areas. Now we'll go back to that and we'll go through that tailor-made experience is the customer journey. So we'll go through that and say, right, at every point here, how is the customer feeling? Are we getting back to them quick enough? Are we answering their questions fast enough? Are we helping them decide on what materials they should use, on what sort of what's the best advice for the roof? Do they need to get it replaced? Should they get it repaired? How long will that last? Making sure at each individual station we're ticking all the boxes, and then for me, that's what I've done over the last decade plus, is literally just making sure that if we meet all of those parts as we go along, then you'll have a happy customer at the end. And if anything goes off and slips off, everyone knows within Taylor Roofs that's what the standard is. So if we slip off somewhere, we know, okay, we need to do X, Y or Z to bring us back up onto that sort of that standard line and make sure that we get things back on track. So I think it's an important time to realise that, you want to be using a roofing contractor who's maybe part of the National Federation of Roofing Contractors like us, Edinburgh Trusted Trader, West Lothian Council Trusted Trader, very good strong ratings on Google and Trustpilot with many reviews. And what you usually see is we've always got current up-to-date reviews as well. There's a lot happening, and we're always very active. You don't just see us, we've got a good review there and then there's nothing for months on end. It's always fresh and recurring, showing that, because that's our measure of the tailor-made experience actually working. So I think this is an important time to choose the right contractor. Because of how tight the market is, it might be a consideration to maybe go with a cheaper quote or a lesser known company or something to that effect. And You just got to really be careful and do your due diligence that you're not going to end up having to pay twice for this. And yeah, I think that's where we're going to focus our attention. You know, we've tightened up the operation. We'll tighten up the systems and the processes. We'll keep putting more and more into continual improvement that gets then passed on to the homeowner, so it's a better experience for them. And for homeowners, we're just doing absolutely everything we can to provide that trusted and reliable roofing service that Taylor Roofs is known for.
If you've stayed to the end of this Taylor Roofs video, then leave a like, comment and tell us what you think about this new van, and subscribe to see more behind the scenes here at Taylor Roofs.